My name is Renee Caldwell, 41 years old, and after 17 years of building a life, a family, and a business with my husband, he stood on a stage and kissed his mistress, in front of everyone. He thought I'd stay quiet. He thought I'd break. Instead, I made one call and turned everything around. Tell me where you're watching from, and hit subscribe, because this story, you won't believe how it ends. I wasn't supposed to be at the mic. Gavin made that very clear. It's a quick investor pitch, babe, he'd said that morning, kissing my cheek with the same mouth that's been lying for months. I'll do the talking. You just smile and look stunning. I smiled. That's what I did. For 17 years, through late nights, tight budgets, and his wandering attention. I smiled. So I stood to the side of the stage in my navy dress and heels that were killing me. Clutching the revised design mock-ups, I stayed up reworking until 2 a.m. While Gavin got his beauty sleep. The small conference room was packed. Dozens of our top clients, family friends, local business owners we'd worked with for years. Our daughter, Callie, was seated near the front, fiddling with her bracelet. She hates these events. She came because she thought her dad would finally acknowledge her help on the teen design line she pitched. What a joke. Gavin adjusted his collar and stepped onto the stage, all smiles. That practiced charisma that reeled people in. It was on full display. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We've built something special these last 17 years. And while change can be scary, sometimes it's necessary. Wait. What? I tilted my head, confused. He hadn't mentioned a shift in direction. We just closed on 2 new projects. He'd said everything was full steam ahead. Gavin flashed his signature grin and motioned to the side doors. So tonight, I'm proud to announce a new creative partnership and a new chapter for me, both professionally and personally. The doors opened. She walked in. Blonde, tall, wearing a white silk jumpsuit like this was her wedding day. Fallon Reese, that walking hashtag. I'd seen her on Gavin's Instagram before, tagged vaguely at work events. I thought she was a PR hire, maybe an interior branding consultant, something harmless. She walked straight to him and kissed him, on the stage, in front of our clients, our friends, our daughter. A kiss. Gasps. Awkward laughs. I heard someone actually say, "Wait, what?" Gavin turned to the crowd, arm around her waist like this was some kind of fairy tale reveal. Fallon is more than just my partner in design. She's my partner in life. I'm leaving Renee for my real soulmate. We're launching Soul House, a rebranded luxury line focused on conscious living, modern energy flow, and emotionally intelligent spaces. It's time for something fresh, something that reflects where I am now. My body went cold. I looked down and realized I was still holding the design mock-ups. Our brand, our business. My fingerprints were on every part of it. His voice kept going, but I stopped hearing words. My ears were buzzing. My throat closed up. My legs started to move without permission. I stepped forward. "Gavin," I said loudly. The room froze. He turned, a flicker of irritation passing over his face before he smoothed it away. "Renee," he said, as if I were a distant guest crashing his dinner. "You're announcing this now? Here? In front of our daughter?" I didn't yell. I didn't cry. My voice was calm, which made it worse. Callie had gone pale. Her hand trembled in her lap. Gavin let out a small laugh. "Let's not make a scene." "A scene? You kissed your mistress on a stage you built with my money, using my designs under a company name that still legally belongs to me." Fallon's smile faltered. There it was. The silence. The realization spreading across the room. I turned to the crowd. Just so we're clear, Gavin Caldwell hasn't divorced me. This little soulmate circus you're watching? It's adultery, dressed up in Pinterest fonts. Someone in the back choked on their drink. Fallon blinked rapidly. I looked back at Gavin. "You could have told me in private. You could have spared Callie. But you wanted this to be a performance, a spectacle. You wanted me small." He shifted uncomfortably. I stepped up to the mic. So let me give you one last update as co-founder of Caldwell Interiors. The accounts are frozen. Legal proceedings begin Monday. Gavin, you no longer have access to the design portfolio or the brand assets. As of this moment, you don't even have access to your office keys. His jaw tightened. Renee, don't do this here. You did this here. Then I looked out over the room, familiar faces stunned into silence. Some whispered. Some avoided my eyes. I found Callie's face. She nodded. Just once, like she was proud. Like she finally saw me. I walked off the stage, heels clicking like gunshots on the tile. At the exit, I turned around one last time. Gavin was frozen, mouth open, Fallon's hand slipping from his arm like even she knew the glow-up had backfired. I smiled, actually smiled, and said clearly, "You picked the wrong woman to betray in public." Then I walked out, straight to my car, and made one call. Not to a friend, not to my mother, not to a therapist. I called my lawyer, because if Gavin wanted a performance, he was about to get a masterpiece. People always ask, "Did you see the signs?" Yes, I did. I just didn't want to believe what they meant. 17 years ago, I met Gavin at a real estate conference in Asheville. I was fresh out of UNC Charlotte, working 80-hour weeks at a small architecture firm, hungry to prove myself. He was already in sales, charming, driven, and too smooth for his own good. I should have run the first time he called me firecracker in front of his friends. But instead, I married him 2 years later. I put my career on hold when I got pregnant with Callie. Gavin said, "We don't need two people burning out at once. Focus on the baby. I've got us." So I did. I stepped back. I stayed home. I handled diapers and deadlines, nap schedules, and the business books. And Gavin built Caldwell Interiors with my designs, my ideas, my vision, while I stayed invisible in the background. At first, it worked. We were partners. He'd charm the clients, and I'd bring their dream homes to life. He gave credit, publicly at least. But over the years, he started editing me out of the story. Gavin Caldwell Designs began slipping into emails. Photos of his face, his quotes, his creative genius filled the website. My name vanished from the About page. I let it go. For Callie, for the house, for the promise that we were a team. But the cracks were there. He started working late more often, got defensive if I asked questions, switched passwords on shared accounts, then claimed it was for security. He became obsessed with social media. Every photo was curated. Every caption had a motivational quote he didn't live by. Then Fallon started showing up. At first, she was just a consultant, someone he met at a marketing panel. She was younger, prettier, but so transparent I thought he'd get bored in weeks. He didn't. Callie saw it before I did. She came home from school one day and asked, "Why did Dad post a picture with that Fallon woman but not you?" I played it off. "It's probably for business." Callie shrugged. She commented with a heart. He liked it in, 2 seconds. That night I searched his phone while he was in the shower. I hadn't done that in our entire marriage. I felt sick doing it. There were no messages, just one thread with Fallon, completely deleted, like a freshly cleaned crime scene. I told myself I was being paranoid, but when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize myself anymore. I was the woman who ignored the lipstick smudges on receipts, who told her daughter everything was fine when it clearly wasn't, who let her husband gaslight her into silence because the alternative, burning it all down, seemed too big, too messy, too final. Until that night on stage. The night Gavin decided to go public with his fantasy and bury me in the process. After I walked out, I drove straight to my sister's house. I didn't cry. I didn't even explain. I just handed her my car keys and said, "I need to sit down before I break something." She poured wine. I told her everything. And for the first time in years, someone looked at me like I mattered. The next morning, Callie crawled into bed with me. No words. Just her, lying next to me like she did when she was 6 and afraid of thunderstorms. After a long silence, she whispered, "I always knew he didn't deserve you." That was it. That one sentence, that's what made it real. Not the affair, not the public kiss, not the betrayal in front of investors. Callie saw it too. She saw her father lie. She saw him discard me. And worse, she saw how long I'd accepted it. I realized then, if I didn't fight back, if I didn't show her what self-respect looked like in real time, she'd carry this into her own life, into her own relationships. I couldn't let that happen, so I pulled out my old notebook, the one I hadn't touched in years, filled with passwords, contracts, login info, my private ledger of the business I helped build, the one Gavin thought I'd forgotten about. And I made a list. Not of revenge. Not yet. Just facts, accounts, ownership documents, evidence, the deeds that were still under my name, the ones he never bothered to transfer. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to scream. I was going to reclaim everything he thought he could walk away with. Not for spite, not for pride. For me. For Callie. For the 17 years I gave him, thinking we were in this together. And now, we're not. We're not anything at all. There's a quiet moment after betrayal, when the shock wears off but the rage hasn't landed yet. That's where I lived, for about 4 hours. Then I got to work. The first thing I did was go home, alone. Not to cry, not to pack, to document. I walked through our house, my house, filming every room, every rug I picked, every light fixture I designed, every table I refinished with my own hands. I narrated it like a walkthrough for a new client. This is the formal dining room. French farmhouse table, oak legs, custom stain. He told me it was too rustic chic until a client complimented it, and then he said it was his idea. I sent the footage straight to my lawyer. The second thing I did was open the safe behind the bookshelf, the one Gavin thought I didn't know the combination to. He always thought he was subtle, like I wouldn't notice him looking over his shoulder when he keyed it in. Please. Inside were 3 things that mattered: a flash drive labeled Legacy Projects, our marriage license, and the deed to our house, still in both our names. I took all 3. Then I called our financial planner, told her to freeze every joint account, effective immediately. I didn't yell. I didn't even give a reason. Just said, "I'm asserting my legal rights as co-owner. Any withdrawal over $500 needs my signature from now on." She hesitated, then said, "Understood, Mrs. Caldwell. Not Renee. Not Sweetie. Not the wife in the background. Mrs. Caldwell. The one with the power." Next came the business. Gavin might have been the face, but I was the infrastructure. I set up the invoicing system, built the design templates, tracked every client touchpoint. The company email server was registered to my personal domain. He never bothered to update it. So I logged in, changed every password, flagged every message involving Fallon's name, set up auto-forwards to my lawyer. Then, I opened our client database. I drafted one short message. To our valued clients. As of this week, I, Renee Caldwell, am no longer affiliated with Gavin Caldwell's new design venture. Caldwell Interiors remains a legally recognized entity. If you wish to continue working with me directly, I'll be announcing next steps shortly. Thank you for your loyalty these past 17 years. I hit send to all. 30 seconds later, Gavin texted, "Gavin, what the hell are you doing?" I stared at the message, thumb hovering. Then I put the phone down. Let him squirm. While he was busy chasing likes on his new Soulmate launch, I drove to our staging warehouse, my warehouse. Fallon had no idea half the furniture used in their upcoming Soul House showcase was rented under my vendor contracts. I called every supplier, terminated every agreement, removed Gavin's name from authorized pickup. Then I called our realtor. List the house. "Renee, are you sure?" "Yep. Price it to move fast. I want the name off the mailbox before he can throw another launch party." She hesitated. "You'll need his signature to sell." "No," I said. "He'll need mine." Then I packed a bag. Not with clothes, with files, tax returns, receipts, asset spreadsheets. The prenup Gavin pressured me to skip back in 2009 because we're partners, baby. We don't need a contract. You know what else I packed? The necklace he gave me on our 10th anniversary. I found the receipt 3 months later. It was from a liquidation store. He told me it was custom. I was halfway out the door when Callie got home from school. She saw the box in my hand and froze. You're leaving? Not running, I said. Strategizing. She looked at me for a long second, like she didn't recognize me. And then maybe did. I want to stay with you, she said quietly. You don't have to choose yet. She shook her head. No, I already have. That night, Gavin finally showed up. I was in the garage labeling a file cabinet. He came in loud, like he always did, boots on concrete rattling the walls. You froze our accounts? He said. Are you insane? I didn't turn around. No, I'm awake. He laughed bitterly. You think you can just take everything? No, Gavin. I'm just taking back what you thought you could steal quietly. He looked around, eyes landing on the packed bags, the cleared walls. This is overkill. We can handle this like adults. You had 17 years to handle things like an adult. You chose a white jumpsuit Barbie and a microphone. He flinched, just slightly, but I saw it. Then he tried the last card he had left. Think about Callie. I am. I walked past him, slowly, deliberately, stopped at the door. I'll see you in court, Gavin. And I meant it. The next phase had begun. By Monday morning, Gavin's world started cracking, loud enough for people to hear it. It started with the calls, our shared accountant, our supplier rep, his gym, if you can believe it. Hi, Mrs. Caldwell. Gavin just tried to move funds from the business line. Hey, Renee, your husband tried to pull inventory today. His access code bounced. Ma'am, Gavin's card declined. He asked us to call you directly. Every call was the same. Gavin throwing his weight around and realizing it didn't carry like it used to. Because the accounts were frozen. The legal structure was under review. And the vendors? They were loyal to me. The one who paid on time. The one who showed up. By noon, I got the first angry voicemail. Gavin, voicemail. Renee, call me. This is getting out of hand. You're overreacting. Fallon has meetings set with sponsors this week and we can't access our samples because you're playing games? We built that inventory together. I'm trying to be civil, but this is sabotage. Sabotage? No, sweetheart. This was strategy. Fallon posted a photo that night, her standing in front of a showroom wall. Except the caption was different than usual. Fallon Reese. Trying to build something from scratch with love and intention isn't always easy, especially when others are holding on to bitterness. But I believe in karma. The comment section lit up. Wait, wasn't this Renee Caldwell's design line? I thought this was a joint business? What happened to Caldwell Interiors? Gavin who? I didn't comment. I didn't need to. Let the public piece it together. Let her learn how it feels to be questioned, doubted, side-eyed. Let her realize what happens when you parade betrayal like a badge. The next day, Fallon's little empire started shaking. A brand sponsor pulled out, quietly. One of our longtime clients posted a photo tagging me, not Gavin or Soul House. And then came the rumor, not started by me, not spread by me, that Fallon had been dating Gavin while still married to her ex, which turns out was not a rumor. People love a drama, but they hate a liar. Meanwhile, Callie wasn't speaking to her father. Not out of spite, out of disappointment. She forwarded me a text from him. Gavin, I know you're confused right now, but your mom is being really emotional. I love you. Please don't let her turn you against me. I didn't respond for her. I didn't need to. She sent her own reply. Callie, you did that all by yourself. Gavin called me 3 times that night. I didn't answer. Then he called my sister. I was brushing my teeth when my phone buzzed. Tara, text. Your boy just tried to play the family card. Told me he's worried about Callie's mental state and said maybe she needs space from both of you. I told him to go talk to the mirror he's so in love with. I laughed. First time in days. But not everything was funny. The next morning, one of our biggest suppliers reached out. Said Gavin showed up in person, trying to negotiate a new relationship under Soul House. Told them I was stepping back, letting him lead. They declined. Word was spreading. Gavin didn't have control anymore. He was spiraling. I didn't gloat. I documented. Quietly, thoroughly. I logged every call, saved every email, screenshotted every social media post where Fallon played victim. My lawyer said we were building a stronger case by the hour. By the end of the week, Gavin tried texting me again. Gavin, this is getting nasty. I think we need to sit down and talk like adults. Call me. I sat on the message for a full day before replying. Me. I have nothing to say that my attorney won't say better. His response came fast. Gavin, don't do this. You're not that person. You're not cold. He was right. I wasn't cold. I was calm. And calm is what you become after the fire burns through and there's nothing left to burn. I didn't plan to see him that night. I didn't plan any of it. But that's the thing about consequences. They don't always wait for your invitation. It was Callie's choir showcase. A local fundraiser, small-town style, folding chairs, string lights, parents balancing phones on their knees to record. Gavin hadn't RSVP'd, at least not to me, but I should have known he'd show. I was already seated when I saw him walk in. Late, of course, Fallon on his arm, wearing a dress 2 shades too loud for a school event. They stood near the back. I turned away. Callie sang beautifully. Her voice shook a little during the solo, but she didn't miss a note. I clapped hard when it ended. Gavin didn't. Fallon was too busy filming herself, not the stage. After the show, I stayed back to help take down some of the decorations. Mrs. Levitt, one of the moms, handed me a bundle of string lights and whispered, "You handled that like a pro, Renee." I didn't ask what she meant. I just smiled and kept wrapping cords. Then I heard my name. Too loud. Too performative. Too Gavin. "Renee! Got a minute?" I turned. Parents turned too. Mrs. Levitt froze next to me. Gavin was already walking toward me like this was a red carpet event. He smiled like nothing had happened. Fallon stayed behind, pretending to be interested in a PTA bake sale poster. "We really need to talk," he said. I didn't move. About what? He dropped his voice like it would make him seem reasonable. About all this. The money. The business. You've made your point. Loud and clear, but you're not thinking long term. I blinked slowly. "I'm sorry. Are you advising me now?" He looked around like he wanted to keep things civil, which was rich, considering he'd humiliated me in front of a full room not 2 weeks ago. "You're angry, I get it. But Fallon and I, this wasn't some quick thing. It's real. You and I were drifting. We both know it. But this vendetta? Freezing accounts, canceling contracts, dragging Callie into it?" I raised my voice just enough. "Dragging Callie? You brought your affair to a microphone while she was in the front row." A few heads turned. Gavin stepped closer, lowering his voice again. "This isn't helping you, Renee. People are starting to talk." I nodded. "You're right. People are talking." And then I said it loud enough for the room to hear. "You kissed your mistress on a stage I designed, in front of my daughter, while lying about the business we built together. Now you want to talk reputation?" The room fell into a hush. Someone actually dropped a cup. Fallon slunk closer, clutching her phone like it was a shield. "This isn't the place." I turned to her. "Then maybe don't bring your married boyfriend to a school function." She blinked, red-faced. A few parents gasped. One mom walked her kid straight out the side door. Gavin's voice sharpened. "You're embarrassing yourself." "No," I said. "I'm correcting the narrative you tried to write without me." Then I turned to the room, not for drama, but because I was done hiding. For those wondering, yes, Gavin cheated. Yes, Fallon knew. And yes, they both thought I'd be too quiet, too civilized, to ever say it out loud. Consider this me being uncivilized. You could hear the air shift. Someone in the back muttered, "Wow," and then it happened. Mr. Green, local contractor, father of twins, longtime collaborator of ours, walked up to me and said, "We're pulling our project from Soul House. If you're taking clients again, let me know." I nodded. "I am." Fallon's mouth opened, then shut. Gavin's face was bloodless. I leaned in just slightly and whispered, "You built this mess. You lit the match. I'm just the smoke alarm." Then I stepped away, heading for the door. As I passed Fallon, she hissed, "This is so immature." I stopped, smiled. Immature is thinking you can steal a life someone else built and not pay the price. And that was it. My mic drop moment. Later that night, a clip surfaced. Someone had recorded it. The confrontation, the one-liner, Fallon's stunned silence. It spread through town, then beyond. The caption? Built by Renee. I didn't post it. I didn't need to. By the next morning, Soul House lost 3 contracts. A designer Gavin hired quit mid-project. Sponsors started quietly pulling back. And Fallon? She made her account private. The first time someone tagged me in the viral post, I didn't even open it. I was halfway through sorting donation boxes in the garage when my phone buzzed. Again and again. By the 3rd ping, I checked. It was a screen recording. Gavin, Fallon, a voice memo, and a hashtag that had started to gain traction overnight. Soulmate scam. I hit play. Fallon's voice was unmistakable. Sharp, annoyed, halfway whispering. "No, Gavin, I didn't agree to go all in with no prenup." "Are you insane? I don't care what your lawyer said. If Renee drains you, I'm not signing up to babysit your debts." Pause. Then Gavin, flustered. "It's not like she can take everything. She's not ruthless." Fallon. "She froze your accounts in one night and turned your vendors against you. That's ruthless." Another pause. Gavin. "She's just mad. Once this settles, she'll back down. She doesn't want to be seen as bitter." Fallon. "She already blew you up in public, babe. The bitter ship sailed. We need to focus on my brand. Your divorce drama is killing my engagement." Click. The audio ended. The video was posted by someone anonymous. No face, just captions. But it spread like wildfire. People loved it. Not the affair, not the drama, the delusion, the audacity of it. And the irony. Fallon, the self-styled emotional clarity coach, revealed as a status chaser terrified of a prenup. Gavin, once the polished husband businessman, exposed as clueless, arrogant, and completely unprepared. By noon, 3 different creators had stitched it on TikTok, breaking down the whole saga like a case study. One of them titled her video, "How Renee Caldwell Executed the Cleanest Revenge Plan I've Ever Seen." My name was trending, and I hadn't said a word. I didn't have to. Screenshots from Fallon's old coaching group started surfacing. Half-baked advice, shady payment plans, recycled quotes she'd pulled from Pinterest. An ex-client posted, "Paid $790 for Fallon's 6-week mindset reset, and all I got was a Google Doc and a prayer." Another posted PayPal receipts and accused her of ghosting after 2 sessions. The internet turned, swiftly, brutally. Meanwhile, Gavin tried damage control. He posted a video, just him, alone in what looked like a half-staged office, with too much echo and none of Fallon's filters. There's been a lot of speculation lately. I want to take a moment to acknowledge that mistakes were made. Relationships are complex. Fallon and I are navigating a transition, and we ask for privacy and compassion. The comments? A bloodbath. Did Fallon write this apology for you too? You humiliated your wife in public and now you want privacy? Be honest. Did Renee freeze your lighting budget too? Because this setup is tragic. He deleted the video within 2 hours. Too late. Screen recorded. Shared. Memed. And Fallon? She went dark. Deleted over 100 posts. Changed her bio from energy architect empowerment queen to just taking time offline. One creator made a split screen. Fallon's old quote, You attract what you are, paired with the voicemail where she called Gavin's financial situation not her problem. The caption? Then she attracted Gavin. I didn't laugh. Not out loud. But inside, I'll be honest, it felt like the scales were finally balancing. Not because people were cruel, but because truth finally had a microphone. And the best part? I never said a word publicly. Not once. I let them talk. They did the damage all by themselves. Even our mutual acquaintances, the ones who sat on the fence, who didn't want to get involved, started reaching out quietly. I had no idea it was that bad. You always handled things with so much grace. If you ever go solo, we'd love to work with you. I didn't reply to most of them. I was busy. My lawyer and I filed the formal business split paperwork. I retained full rights to the Caldwell Interiors brand. Gavin was forced to rebrand again. Soul House was on life support. Fallon had unfollowed Gavin on Instagram by Thursday. Callie noticed first. She showed me her phone at breakfast. Is that what a digital breakup looks like? I shrugged. Looks like a business loss to me. That night, Gavin texted. Gavin, we should talk. Things have gotten out of hand. I never meant for this to get so public. I stared at the message for a long moment, then replied, Me. You made it public the second you picked a microphone over a marriage. He didn't respond. And me? I didn't post a single thing. But the world was already listening. There's a kind of silence that only follows legal paperwork. Thick, final, undeniable. It came the morning Gavin was officially served. I was at my attorney's office sipping bad coffee, watching him flip through the final filing packet. Divorce, business dissolution, full financial disclosure, custody petition. Clean, he said, tapping the folder. Comprehensive. He won't be able to talk his way around this. Good. He didn't get to squirm out this time. That afternoon, Gavin called me 5 times, left 2 voicemails. Both started out polite and spiraled into panic. You're bleeding me dry. You don't need full custody. That's not fair to Callie. We can still fix the business, Renee. We don't have to burn it all down. But he'd already lit the match. I just refused to be the one holding it. The court date for temporary support was set. My lawyer filed for exclusive residential custody, citing instability on Gavin's side. Fallon's name was on the witness list, not because I cared what she said, but because her presence made everything worse for him. Gavin tried to push back, claimed I was weaponizing Callie. The judge read the social media transcript out loud, Fallon calling Callie moody in a now-deleted comment on some lifestyle post. Weaponizing? No. Protecting. Callie told the court she wanted to stay with me full-time. No hesitation. She lied to me, she said plainly. They both did. The judge nodded. Motion granted. Gavin's face crumpled. Right there in the courtroom. I didn't look away. He tried to claim the house, the one he hadn't contributed a dime toward in nearly a year. The same house he abandoned mid-renovation to start fresh with Fallon. Too bad the deed was in my name. Too bad I had receipts. Too bad the bank statements showed Fallon using the home improvement line of credit for a business retreat in Miami. The judge raised an eyebrow. This line item here, energy alignment consultant, $2,400. What was that for? Gavin mumbled something about brand development. Fallon didn't show up. She was in Arizona, according to her Instagram. Something about healing in solitude. Right. The court awarded me full ownership of the home, the original business name, and all physical design assets. Gavin got the LLC for Soul House and its debts. By the end of that week, my lawyer sent over the breakdown. Gavin owed back taxes on the Soul House venture attorney fees, temporary spousal support, a court-ordered payout for violating joint business terms during separation. I read the numbers, then closed the file. I didn't need to celebrate. His own choices had done the work. Then came the final cracks. The family fallout. His father called me first. I hadn't spoken to Tom Caldwell in over a year. He never liked me much. Too outspoken, too opinionated for his taste. But now, I'm sorry, Renee. I don't agree with how he handled things. Your daughter deserved better. You deserved better. I didn't say much. Just thanked him. He asked if Callie could still visit. I said that was up to her. She didn't say no, but she didn't rush to answer either. A week later, Gavin's brother, the one who co-signed the original business loan with us back in 2012, pulled out of Soul House completely, quietly sold his stake to avoid being dragged under. Gavin was furious. He sent me a half-ranting email. "You've poisoned everyone against me. Even my own family." No. He did that all on his own. I hadn't said a single bad word about him to his family. But betrayal has a smell to it. Even the people who love you can smell it when it's thick in the air. By the end of the month, Fallon was gone. Unfollowed Gavin, deleted all posts. Word was she skipped out on the remainder of her lease and ghosted a few clients. Soul House quietly announced they were on hiatus. No refunds issued. Gavin tried to spin it, told someone at a networking event that he was pivoting into consulting. A week later, someone posted a screenshot of him on a freelance website offering branding services at half price. The caption? "From Soulmate to Solo." I didn't laugh, but I did exhale. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. Not because I'd won, but because I was free. It was a Sunday afternoon, the kind where everything felt still. Overcast skies, quiet breeze, no reason to rush anywhere. I was in my new office downtown, finalizing a design board for a client when I got the message. "Gavin, please, just one conversation, one real one, no lawyers." I stared at the screen, considering it. There was nothing left to negotiate. The ink was dry. The assets were split. Callie was with me. The home, the business, all mine now. Even the court had finally issued a cease and desist on Gavin using anything resembling our former brand. But something in me said, finish it. Not legally, not financially, emotionally. For good. So I replied, "You've got 20 minutes. At the warehouse." The old staging warehouse was empty now, stripped of all the pieces I'd once curated. The walls still smelled faintly of cedar and paint. It was neutral ground, ours once, now nobody's. He showed up in jeans and a faded polo 5 minutes late. He looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but something about him had deflated. Like the shine he used to wear as armor had worn off for good. "Hey," he said. I didn't respond. I just stood near the window, arms crossed. He walked closer, hands shoved in his pockets like a schoolboy about to confess. "I know I'm the last person you want to hear from," he started. "You're not wrong," I said. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and losing everything has a way of making you see things differently." "You didn't lose everything, Gavin," I said. "You threw it away. There's a difference." He winced. I know I screwed it up. But Fallon, she's gone. That whole mess is done. And when I think about who I was when I was with you, I was better then. We built something real, Renee. I laughed. Just once. Sharp. Flat. You built an illusion. I built the business, the family, the foundation. You built your ego. I didn't mean for it to happen like that. You mean you didn't mean to get caught? He paused, swallowed hard. I miss Callie. I miss you. I'd give anything to go back and do it differently. Of course you would, I said. Now that it's all gone. He stepped closer. But it's not all gone. We could maybe start again. Just talk. Go to dinner. No pressure. Just see. I blinked at him, stunned. You think this is about loneliness? He said nothing. I'm not lonely, Gavin. I'm peaceful. There's a difference you've clearly never experienced. His shoulders slumped, the last bit of pride draining out. I was stupid, he said. I let something good rot because I was chasing something shiny. I thought Fallon saw me. I thought she made me feel young again. But she just wanted what I had. No, I corrected. She wanted what I built. He nodded slowly. You're right. He looked around the warehouse, the cracked floors, the stripped walls. It's so empty now. That's what's left when you gut a place and forget to rebuild. He looked back at me. I don't expect you to forgive me. Good, I said. He hesitated, then asked, Is there any part of you that still loves me? I took my time answering. Not for drama. For truth. I loved the man I thought you were. The one who used to leave me notes in the kitchen. The one who knew how I liked my coffee without asking. The man who held our daughter the first time like she was made of glass. His eyes softened. He remembered those versions too. But that man, I continued, chose to humiliate me. Publicly, repeatedly. And not because you fell in love with someone else, but because you thought I'd stay quiet. You gambled everything, Gavin, and lost. He nodded again. So that's it? That's it. He looked down, almost like he expected it, but hoped for something else anyway. I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. Just before I stepped out, I turned around one last time. You thought the end would be a fight. It's not. It's silence. He said nothing. I stepped outside, the heavy door clicking shut behind me. No dramatic music, no thunderstorm, just air, just space. Freedom doesn't come with fanfare. It comes with the absence of weight. 8 months later, my life looks nothing like it did. The house sold fast, full price, no contingencies. The couple who bought it said they loved the bones, which made me laugh. They had no idea what it took to build those bones, to rebuild them again, and then to let them go. Callie and I moved into a renovated loft above a florist shop downtown. Exposed brick, high ceilings, soft light. It's smaller, quieter, cleaner, not just in space, but in energy. Nothing fake lives here. Every morning, I drink my coffee by the window and watch the street come to life. And for the first time in years, I'm not rushing. I'm not shrinking. I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop. I launched my own firm, Renee Caldwell Design. Not flashy, not soulful, just honest, beautiful, functional design. Word got around fast. Clients I hadn't heard from in years started reaching out, not just because they liked my work, but because they respected how I carried myself. They said it like it was a secret. You handled everything with such grace. Translation. We saw what he did, and we saw what you didn't do. Beg, break, or burn everything to the ground. I didn't take a wrecking ball to the life we had. I just walked away from the rot and started building something better. From scratch. With my name on the door this time. Callie's doing better too. The girl who once avoided conflict like it was fire now calls out nonsense when she sees it. She started a small art account online, sells prints, writes her own captions. No fake positivity, just her, raw and funny and honest. She still sees Gavin, every other weekend, court-ordered. But she doesn't pretend anymore. She knows who he is now. That's not my burden to manage. It's theirs. As for Gavin, he's around. Sort of. Soul House folded for good. Website gone, Instagram deleted. The business account was flagged for financial inconsistencies. Not my problem. Last I heard, he was renting a 2-bedroom in a neighborhood he used to call starter territory. He's driving a leased truck now. His new branding agency never launched. Fallon reappeared once, long enough to drop a vague, healing and growing post with a soft focus selfie and a caption about lessons. Comments were off. Then she disappeared again. Neither of them ever apologized publicly. Of course not. That would have required ownership. But I don't need it. I don't need closure from people who were never open. The truth is, revenge was never the point. The point was to take back the power he assumed I'd lost. Quietly, surgically, and completely. He thought I'd fall apart. Instead, I turned into someone he couldn't access anymore. The old me, the accommodating, agreeable version, died the day he kissed her on that stage. This version? She doesn't wait for permission. She doesn't explain herself. She doesn't need the applause. A few weeks ago, I found the old necklace he gave me for our anniversary, still in the back of my drawer, still in the same cheap box. I dropped it in the donation bin. Not out of anger, just detachment. Let someone else wear it. Let it mean something else to someone else. I've outgrown all of it. The jewelry, the life, the man. Now, I'm not surviving. I'm thriving. In a way that doesn't need to be documented or posted or turned into a slogan. It's in how I speak, how I carry myself, how I look in the mirror and no longer feel erased. It's in the way Callie holds her head a little higher now. It's in the calm, the quiet. That's what healing actually sounds like. And if there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's this. Betrayal isn't the end of a story. It's just the part that shows you who you were never meant to carry forward. And me? I'm moving forward. Thanks for listening to my story. If you stayed till the end, you already know. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. If you felt something while listening, hit that hype button to show some love. I'd really love to hear your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments below. Don't hold back. And if you want more stories like this, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that like button. It helps more than you know. See you in the next one.